What if you had no insurance and you learned you had late-stage breast cancer? Sounds like a fatal diagnosis, right? Not so. There's a program designed specifically to assist the working poor facing just such a challenging time. I'm Rachel Bozing. Welcome to My County, the show that explores services and programs provided to you by Los Angeles County. Joining me today is Lori Viveros, Program Manager, UCLA Avon Centers for Life Program, Olive View Medical Center. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You know, breast cancer, that diagnosis has got to be crushing, but if you don't have insurance, I'm sure it's almost debilitating, and that's where Avon Cares for Life steps in, right?
Right. We started in 2006, and when we started the program, we were noticing that patients weren't understanding their diagnosis, weren't sure what their treatment options were, and also just really felt lost in the system. And so we have developed a program that provides that one-on-one support, proactive attention that really puts solutions in place for any potential barriers to their care.
So you're stepping in the gap and really kind of being a champion for the people who have this diagnosis, from diagnosis to treatment and beyond. Tell me in each phase how you do that.
Well, we meet with the patient just after the doctor's given her diagnosis, and we establish our role. And our role is that we help coordinate their care. We help look at other resources, both locally and nationally, for any transportation issues, food security, financial assistance that the patient might need. We work closely with our medical team to make sure patients are receiving services in a timely manner, so that's surgery, chemotherapy, any diagnostic studies that are necessary. And after the patient's completed surgery, in most cases, they move on to medical oncology. At that point in time, we expedite any of their staging studies that are needed, a CT scan, a bone scan, an MRI, anything of that sort, so that when the patient comes back for their treatment planning visit, the doctor has all the tools that he needs or she needs to put a plan in place for the patient.
So this is the patient navigator. That's the person who's really kind of navigating and steering the patient through this whole system. Now somebody's thinking as they're watching this, well, where does the money part come in? So you're assisting as they actually walk through the program. What about who's paying for these services?
Well, we also facilitate the access to a program through Medi-Cal. It's called the Breast and Cervical Cancer Treatment Program. And through the state funding, as well as federal funding, patients receive coverage for their treatment from surgery and reconstruction all the way through chemotherapy, radiation, all the way through. So it's a huge benefit for our patients to be able to get access to that type of program.
I mean, it has to be just a godsend, right? So somebody gets this diagnosis of breast cancer, they're terrified, but you have a patient navigator step in and you help them, you know, find the money and the resources in order to actually be treated and to get their life back. And you've been tremendously successful. You've assisted 500 patients so far since about 2006.
Right.
And then you have other stats about the surgery, from diagnosis to surgery. You've reduced that time.
We've been able to reduce time from biopsy to surgery from 53 days to 35 days. We've also been able to improve treatment compliance from 75% of patients complying with their treatment to 97%.
Let's talk about both of those. Treatment compliance. What does that mean? People aren't paying attention to what they're supposed to do, or?
Well, what happens oftentimes is because of transportation issues, for instance, patients may miss chemotherapies or not be able to get to their appointments with the medical oncologist. So now with our program, we've been able to put solutions in place so that patients don't have those type of barriers to care.
So you're really helping them, you know, with the basic logistics. Transportation. Like, I'd really like to go to my chemotherapy, but I don't have a car. So all of a sudden my health is, you know, in jeopardy because I just can't get there. And you're stepping in and filling that gap too.
And some patients, we actually tend to have a younger patient population. So child care, for instance, is another aspect that we also are able to provide some support for as well. So financial assistance. Some of our patients don't have the ability to put food on the table or just not sure where the next meal is going to come from. So we've been able to partner with local and national organizations to provide those type of services for our patients while they're on treatment.
That's really fantastic, because it sounds to me like you're allowing the patient then to really focus on getting better, as opposed to all the satellite logistics that happen. Who's going to take care of my baby? How do I drive to my appointment?
Right.
Where am I going to get a wig? I mean, because you said you help them that way as well. And then, of course, reducing the time from biopsy to surgery is important because
if too much time passes, the cancer will inevitably continue to grow. And it also reduces the anxiety for a lot of patients. They're told, I have cancer. One of the first things they think of, well, I need to get this removed. Something needs to happen, and it needed to happen yesterday, you know. And so by us being able to remove that or reduce that time, then patients are alleviated with their anxiety. They're not as anxious.
And they feel empowered.
Sure.
Right? And again, the anxiety, like, who wants to have the anxiety for extra 20 days, you know, while you're waiting to have the surgery?
Exactly.
And really move forward with that. Now, you also have, well, first of all, let me just say that you're going to assist about 200 patients this year as well, right? That's kind of your average?
Right. So that includes both patients that are newly diagnosed as well as patients who are continuing their care. So we, on average, is about 200 to 270.
So while somebody's listening to this, what diagnosis do they have to get in order to be able to take advantage of these services?
So actually, all our patients, even diagnosed with any type of atypical cells, so an example of that is atypical ductal hyperplasia or atypical lobular hyperplasia. Those left untreated could eventually develop into something more serious. And then obviously invasive breast cancer. If patients from stage 0 to stage 4, if they've been diagnosed with breast cancer, low income, uninsured, we are more than happy to take care of them.
And just before we leave, you have another program that steps in once they're in the survivorship, right? Just top line that for me for 2 seconds.
We're very excited in that we have a clinic called the Avon Cares for Life Clinic that then continues the care for patients once they've completed their treatment and provides disease surveillance, long-term toxicity effects, helps manage hormonal therapy, and really provides a continuity after they've completed their adjuvant treatment.
Fantastic. Tell me where people can go if they want to learn more about it.
For more information, people can go to www.cancer.ucla.edu/Avon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Lori
so
Viveros.
much.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And please join us next time right here on My County and learn more about programs and services brought to you by Los Angeles County. Thanks.